Well, hi, good morning, and thank you so much for joining me in my shop here. It's December 7th, another day with snow, but supposedly rain is coming. Oh my gosh, no, not rain. There's 3.5 feet of snow outside, and there's rain on top of it. So, nothing on the bench. That's because this is what we're going to be working on here. Console. Storage area. AM radio and record player. So today what I want to do is check this stuff out, operate it if I dare, see how it works or how it doesn't work, and then come up with some approach to fixing it up. So first thing that's caught my attention though is this. This is really unusual that this should still be here. Why don't we start by just taking a look at this and see what we can learn from it. Avoid turning the turntable to the left by hand. To the left must mean this way, must be counterclockwise. Phillips. Adjustment. Warning. Operation. Normal records. Micro groove records. Normal records. Pickup head only with 2 needles. Speed regulator. Diameter adjustment. Okay, what's different over here? Micro groove records. So here they're showing it on 78. Now they're showing 78, 45, and 33. Kind of funny how this isn't like 3 equally spaced stops here. Speed rate adjusting knob for diameter if it is a 17.5 centimeter record. 17.5 centimeter record? Oh, of course it's Phillips. So they're European. So they're talking in the metric system. Here in North America, which is back in the day, I mean, who would have known what that meant back in 1940 or whenever? Probably here in North America, nobody. First read what has been written under note. Okay, note. Note. Okay, let's first read this. Well, let's look at this side first. Phillips record changer directions for use. Adjustment. Directions for use. Notice they call it a record changer. That is the proper name for these record players. We call them record players all the time here in North America. A record changer says that you can stack a number of records on here and it'll drop the records and play through them. Record changer description. No, note. Make sure that your record changer is adapted for the voltage and frequency of your lighting mains. See the electricity meter. In the case of a record changer type AG1000, the frequency indicated on the type plate must correspond to the local mains frequency. The exact voltage can be adjusted by means of the connections under the mounting plate. Consult your dealer or the drilling template supplied. You have to drill holes in. When starting up for the first time, it's advisable to help the motor by turning the turntable clockwise with the hand, because the self-adjusting motor bearings may have become rather too tight during transport. Okay. For playing records with a large central hole, microgroove records for the 45 RPM, use the small fill-up rings, fill up as in fill up, not Philip, fill, not Philip, fill up. That's kind of funny. Now I've lost my place. fill-up rings of the type normally available in the trade, or the Phillips plug type AG 7001. Yeah, so the 45 RPM records really, this was an attempt by somebody to steal the entire business, making records and making record players, and they tried to steal it by creating a 45 RPM record, a little better fidelity, only one song on a side, big hole in the middle so you couldn't put it on your little hole record player. That was his idea, but then somebody thought, well, why don't we just stick something in the big hole and make a small hole and put it on the small record player. His whole business plan to steal the entire industry just flopped right away. So I don't think he was able to patent the record hole. You're patenting a hole. Oh, that's odd. Yeah. For automatic playing, use only records of normal thickness. That has something to do with how it drops each individual record. If the record's too thick or too thin, something will go wrong with the dropping mechanism. Again, millimeters. What's a millimeter? It is recommended always to remove the records from the spindle after playing. This prevents them from warping. Remove the records from the spindle after playing. But after you finish playing, they're not on the spindle, they're down on the platter. Anyway, don't store records on the spindle. That's, I think, what they were really saying. The records are going to droop. I got a crazy story to tell you about a drooping record here. Maintenance. Maintenance, we don't have to read all that. Inserting the long record spindle. Raise the record loading arm and turn it aside. Then place the long record spindle, which is packed separately, in the hollow shaft of the turntable and turn it round until it drops down and cannot be turned any further. The can then points to the rear at an angle to the right. Then place the record loading arm over the spindle. Well, I think, don't you have to put a record on before you move the arm over? Okay, well, I got a good idea what's on this card, and there's a better warning. Better read the warning. You know, over here it said read the note first, but the note never said read the warning. I think the warning's more important. Never change the speed of the turntable while the motor is at a standstill. Okay, I knew this already about these record players. Do not switch the motor on before making sure the repeating knob repeat is in the highest position. Repeating knob. They didn't talk about it. Where's the repeating knob? Catch for 30, pickup, control arm, repeat knob. They kind of sneaking that in a little bit here. Never change the speed of the turntable while the motor's at its standstill. That's one thing. Do not switch the motor on before making sure the repeating knob, repeat, is in the highest position. Well, I don't know what a repeating knob is. Never heard of that. That's something new. And I'll tell you my funny story. When I was in high school, one of my friends said to me, come on, we're going to the record store. I have to take a record back. Oh, I said, what are you talking about? And he has a record, and it's in the sleeve, and the sleeve is bulked out like this. He goes, oh, the record's warped. I look at it and go, what happened to this record? Did you drive over it? Like it was just completely warped. Like I never seen, records usually warp a little bit, This thing was just, what a mess. So he said to me, here's what I did. I went to the record store in the next town. I bought this record. I brought it home. I taped all the songs. Now I wanted to take the record back. But the record, they weren't going to take it back. There had to be something wrong with it. So I thought I'd warp the record. So here's what he did. He got a pair of kitchen spatulas, or kitchen grippers, I guess, grippers. Grabbed the record like this. Turned his stove on till it was red. Then he's holding it over top like this, waiting for the record to warp. And he said what happened was, it just went from being totally flat to going like this. Suddenly. So he took it, he said he didn't know what to do. So he put it on the floor and stepped on it. That thing was just knurled up like you couldn't believe it. I go, I got to go to the store because when he shows this to the people, they're going to go through the roof. So he goes back, and he's got the record, and the envelope won't come close to closing. He goes, look, this record's warped. I'd like my money back. She says, oh, I'm sorry. We don't give you back your money, but you can get another copy of that record just over there. She took it, kind of tossed it in the back. He came out with another record, only not warped. Anyway, that's the story of my friend trying to warp a record. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that story. I got a kick out of it. Well, I'm going to stop for a minute, and then we're going to take a closer look at the actual machine here. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Get the cord. I think this rolls out. And handle here. Doesn't come. There it goes. There we are. Okay. Got a protector here, which I think I'm going to put back on. Ooh, does that even fit? Maybe it goes this way. Yeah. Okay. Back here where I think it's supposed to be. There we go. Wow, let's see. So speed control, and this is the repeat button. It says repeat here. It has some sizes, 7 and 10, 25, 47. That's what it looks like. Don't know what that is. That's the repeat button. It said something about make sure it's up. I think that's what it said. Okay, here's the tone arm. Pretty heavy. Pretty heavy indeed. Doesn't want to go anywhere. I won't force it. Okay, and then this must be the has a lift lever. Is that what that is? I don't know. Has a gear selector. You'd think that'd be a lift. Maybe it's a lock or something. I don't know. And this is the size, different sizes of the records here. Okay. Back here is a 12-inch detector lever. It's pretty sticky. So you drop a 12-inch record, it strikes this on the way down and hits it. The spindles here. It's great. These are often lost. Oh, that's pretty long. Got some shape to it too. Yeah. When I mentioned the thickness of the record had to be a certain thickness, it's really talking about this part of this mechanism here for it to work right. Pivoting on this point here. Very simple. Turning around so it won't go down. There we are. It said the tapered side would be towards the back. I think that's what it said. Doesn't seem to be the case. This would be towards the back, I think. Good show. We'll leave that one in. Put this one up here. Okay, so overarm. Just doesn't really want to fit very well. Can't really see it, but it feels like there's a bit of a mechanism underneath this large piece here. I'm not sure. Okay, very good. Now, what about the radio? Take a little look at the radio here. An AM, a Philips AM radio. Not too much to see. I think this hasn't been turned for a while because it's stuck a bit. All the way. There's the labels: tone, off, on, volume, phono, radio. Radio. Very good. Set is off. Okay, really to know any more about it, we'd have to take the radio out and look at the parts and all that kind of stuff. I think it's worthy of a test, just as it is. So I'm going to take a small break, and then we'll try the radio first. Ooh, almost forgot to look at the back of the player. There's something down here. Well, let's take a look at this. Another warning. Warning! Lots of warnings here. Let's see. This says, whoops. Here they come. Everybody be aware. Oh, here's the other one. The two brothers looking for trouble. Okay. Back to what we're doing here. Philips. So, PH, phonograph 202. Not sure what PH stands for. And patented 1938, 1954, that says. So this is from 1954 or later. Warning: disconnect supply cord before opening. How to remove the receiver chassis and drawer. Oh, again, we better read this. Let's just take a moment here. Have a read. Pull out the drawer to the fullest extent. Remove the screw from the bracket holding the rear of the chassis base to the bottom of the changer drawer. Remove the 4 wood screws, 2 on each side, holding front panel to the changer drawer. To remove the front panel with chassis, pull forward slightly and tip down. Disconnect antenna ground leads from antenna ground panel on chassis. That's right here. It must be on the back, because these are mounted on the backboard. So there must be a wire going to the chassis, and there's some way to disconnect it. Disconnect it. Disconnect antenna. Disconnect speaker plug, phono motor plug, phono pickup plug, and phono ground lead from chassis. Okay. Front panel with chassis may now be removed. Front panel with chassis. Pull off knobs and remove 4 wood screws holding chassis to front panel. Changer may now be taken out by removing the 4 suspension screws in each corner. To remove the drawer, remove the spring clip and limit pin at rear changer slide assembly. Pull the drawer out of the cabinet. Oh, okay. Is that a good idea? Pull the drawer out? Okay, well, when the time comes, we know there's a list of detailed instructions here. Reading them once isn't enough for me, but when the time comes, I'll be able to read them again. And what else can we see in here? Maybe just take a peek at the speaker down here. And so it's a permanent magnet type speaker, not particularly large, just one speaker. Okay, there we go. So this is a rim drive record player, and they usually rumble. The rumble will come out the speaker unless you restrict the lowest sounds from passing through and getting to the speaker. And that's part of the truth behind these guys with the rim drive record player. They the bass is somewhat restricted, so no huge speaker here. That's part of the restriction. But it should still sound fine. I'm not saying it won't sound good. Okay, all cats away. Everybody look out. It's exciting, eh? Okay. That was exciting. So I have the power cord here. I'm going to have to find an extension cord here. Okay, I'm going to set things up a little better for continuing. So I'm just getting ready to plug this guy in. Took a moment to look at the plug itself. Ooh, that's a killer right there. This thing here, you know, fingers touching in there, ouch, and a little twist, pow, short circuit in there. This is kind of go. It's very, look at this. It's just cracking. All the way up to here. It's quite flexible back here. It's stiff right in here. Yeah. Here. And here it's flexible. So we're going to shorten this. Get rid of this part. Fortunately, I have a new plug I can put on it. So why exactly it's gone bad in this area and not the rest of it? Good question. I don't know. Obviously, some difference of exposure. I've got some plugs here. They look kind of antique in a way, but they aren't. So I will install this, and then we will give it a go. Great. Okay, I think we're ready to go here. Make sure this is on radio. Let's see here. That's on radio now. Tuned right around 680. There's a station there. For an antenna, at the moment, I'm guessing there's a loop antenna built into this radio, but there may not be. So I do have connections here ready to go to an external antenna, so we can put that on if we don't get anything. I'll be turning this on through some dim bulbs, using a dim bulb technique. So there's no chance of you know, big short circuit in here, you know, kapowie type thing happening. And that'll also bring the voltage up a little bit slower on here. So at first the voltage won't be 115, it'll probably be 100 or somewhere around there. What's likely to happen? What's likely to happen is the thing is going to hum. I can't remember what the owner said about it, but it's very likely it's going to generate a hum. The hum could be, you know, everything from just overwhelming to just a quiet hum, not really interfering with the operation of the radio. But chances are it's going to hum like crazy. Let's make sure it's turned off. See, the power is off right now, so it's turned off. The first thing we'll do is apply power and make sure it doesn't work. Once in a while these switches are stuck on. Okay, so we'll just do this. We're now supplying power, 117 volts, nothing's happening. That's good because nothing's turned on. Okay, maybe I'm gonna just dose the lights a little bit here. Let's try. How's that? Because I want to see if the panel light comes on. It's still a little too bright here. Let me put this one here. That's getting darker, and maybe I'll put that one there. There we are. Now we should see the light when it comes on. Okay, so I'm going to cut the power. I'm going to turn the switch on. As soon as I remember which one it is. This one. Advance the volume. This is really needs some oiling in there, for sure. Okay, when I hit the switch, we may just have a big screaming hummer. It may take time to start humming. It may come on and work, who knows. Here we go. Panel light. Motor spinning on the, why is the motor spinning up here? The motor shouldn't be doing that. I'm not sure why the motor's going. Here comes the radio. Sounds good. Let's tune around. Oh, sounded good. Dirt in the volume control here. Okay. So you can hear the hum. It's not overwhelming. It's a quiet hum. It's almost tolerable. So the sparkly static, I think that might be internal. Okay. Well, just clicked and got louder.
President Yoon has survived an impeachment vote after members of the votes it would have taken to impeach the president.
That's 680 at 710, I think. Let's get the French station. Okay. So the fact that it's working, and the motor's still turning up here. The fact that it's working indicates that it must have its own antenna. But I'm going to hook up this other antenna. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to investigate here. We're going to change how I'm going to do this. Very tight camera shot here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to... By the way, this radio is running on 95 volts, pretty low. Let's just leave it down there because it's operating. So I'm hooking up this loop of wire to my outdoor antenna, and I'm going to wave this around the radio and see if so some of that static is a automatic light in the next room, just turned off. Okay, I'm going to... I can't get too close to the radio here. Let's try it from the back. Oh. So what's happened here is I've triggered the light in our laundry room to come on. It's creating all this noise. Okay, so fact is, we can't do much more with the radio right now. We found out enough that the radio's in good shape. It's actually receiving. There's nothing seriously wrong with it. All the tubes are working. That means the amplifier is working. That means the record player should work too. So we're going to switch over to record player. Or that should get rid of the some of the interference anyway. We'll switch to record player for phono. Look at that. Just listening to the kind of hum that's coming. Okay, I'm going to touch parts up here. Didn't seem to increase it. I'm going to turn this down because it's crazy loud. Now I'm going to touch the needle and see if we hear it. So there's two needles under here. This is kind of an unusual arrangement. There's two needles, and you tip the tone arm back and forth to select the needle. You don't flip it right around or anything. You just twist it a little bit. So one needle becomes lower than the other. That's what's going on here. But we're not hearing a thing. That's not good. We'd like to hear a little bit. Let me turn this right up. She's blasting. Nothing whatsoever. Could be the switch. Don't think so. So there's a chance we have a dead cartridge here, which is a tough thing to deal with on these old record players. So I think that proves the wires are connected to some degree up to the cartridge here, because there can be problems with where the wires plug into the back of the cartridge. Who knows what's going on down below? Well, that's a little bit unfortunate. Okay, so now what we'll try, turn this down. See if we can get this guy spinning. I can pull this out. Ooh, that's ready. More oil needed here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so it's set to 33. This repeat thing is where it is. Ooh, what's that sound? That clicking, some of that clicking you're hearing is coming from a speaker. Don't know what to make of it. Okay, so not spinning. Try different speeds. Only changing when the motor's going, if it's going the wrong way. How does that happen? How does it go the wrong way? Okay, here's the speed. Okay, 78. So now you're starting to hear the rim drive. Oh, the mechanism's trying to work. It shut itself off. Okay, good. So the machine was caught in the middle of doing its thing. When I first powered it up, you heard the motor come on because it was trying to do its thing. But it has to turn the platter to drive the mechanism, because the platter is part of the gearing of the mechanism underneath. If the platter doesn't turn, the mechanism won't operate. You don't even need a motor. You can turn it by hand and make the mechanism go. That's pretty... That doesn't sound very good. I'm going to play a record on something like this. I'm going to take this paper off before I do something terrible to it. Here. So the good news is the motor works. You know what? I wonder. Hey, what happened? Hey, learn something new every day. It looks like one of the needles, the diamond's missing on here too. So that gives you an idea of what an old rim drive record player sounds like. You put the needle on the record and that rumble will come right through the speaker. That's what you'll be listening to. It's really getting going. So it's on 78, so. And you hear the thump, 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 thump like a train going down the railroad tracks. So there's a wheel under here, about this big, that's driving the rim here. It's got a flat spot on it. It's like a flat tire, only the flat part is going around. And it's whacking the rim every time it comes around. That's my guess. So I just discovered where the switch is. when you lift the tone arm up, there's a mechanical switch at the back here. See this part right here. Watch. You can hear it. So motors in record players are designed to spin at a speed. Turn it on. Spin at a speed that is a multiple of 60 hertz, the power line frequency that we get. So the rate at which the motor spins is just, whoops, where's my finger here? Here we are. The rate at which the motor spins is based on the 60 cycles and the way the motor's built and wound. Called a synchronous motor, has a bad problem. No torque until it's spinning. In fact, it really gets torque just I'm trying to be dramatic here. It gets torque just as it reaches its proper speed and kind of sinks in. That's when it gets some real torque. At the very start, there's virtually no torque. So some of these motors won't even start on their own. You do have to kickstart them a little bit to get them going. So this one managed to start on its own. Let's watch it again. It's trying. Yeah, you know, actually, you actually don't need to put a record on here. You just play the platter. Just play the platter, and there you are. Okay, the speed adjustment, there's a couple things that could be why it's not operating on the other speeds. In fact, we should try it now. Let's get it going again. There's a technique that's used to enable a small amount of torque in the motor at startup. It's kind of a trick that's played, probably played in this motor too, just to give a little bit of torque, just to unbalance the motor slightly, get it going. So let's try another speed. So you can tell the drive wheel lifted off the rim of the player because A, there's nothing driving it anymore, and all the noise went away. Try this. So these ones aren't working for reasons unknown, but at least we got 78 here. What a beast. Okay, we'll leave it on 78. So what do we got? We got the record player seems to work. Can probably solve the speeds. It's important because 78, who wants to play a 78 record? Mind you, there's a lot of good music on 78s right up until the late 40s. So big band and stuff like that, and fairly well recorded too on 78s. So the later 78s, and it's kind of neat to play an early 78 from the 1920s or something, and just imagine that here's this piece of music people laid down. They would have done it live to the record, which I won't go into, but there was no tape recording back then, so you performed it right onto a piece of wax or vinyl or something like that. So it's kind of fun, but really the action is at 33 and 45, 33 in particular, so we really want to get this thing going at 33. The problem with this player is you've heard the noise. It's going to be pretty hard to quiet it way down. It's going to be noisy. And maybe you put the record on, you slide this thing back, you close the door, and you can't hear much of the record player itself anymore. But some of that rumbling stuff is going to be transmitted through the cartridge, if we can make it work, and out. The dead cartridge is a big problem. It could be a wire thing, I doubt it. It's probable that the cartridge itself is shot. It's also quite probable the needle is worn out, and it looks like, just from looking at it with my eyes, which is a good way to do it, that one of the needles is actually broken right off and gone, the diamond part. So that's not good. That is not good. I think I might have one of these heads somewhere. The tone arm itself, it's very heavy. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut the power here. Cut the power. You don't need to listen to that. It's quite heavy. heavier than what you would imagine for a higher quality cartridge. You wouldn't want to put a high quality cartridge in here because it's going to hear the rumbling platter that much better. And if you put big speakers on here, you're going to hear it that much better too. So cartridge is going to be restricted with no really low sounds, and the same thing for the speaker, which we already saw is a little bit small for such a big cabinet like this. You'd think there's two big whopping speakers in there. But what other things? So we haven't tried dropping a record. No use doing that just yet. But to find out if the record dropping mechanisms, the size detector works here. And it's kind of weird. You set the size and it still has a detector. So it looks like you set it to 7, or you set it to 10 and 12, and it'll figure out if it's 10 or 12 with this thing. Wow, is that ever tight? Wow, you could never drop a record past this. We'll look into these things, and then we have this whole deal here, which we have not tested. Okay, I think that's it for me today, because we have a lot of stuff going on in our house today, and I don't want to get into this any further. So I think the next step is basically get the record player out, get it on the bench, take a look at it. Take a look at this cartridge thing. How do you separate the cartridge from the tone arm? I don't know. And we would want to take a close look at that and try to figure out if the cartridge is good right off the bat. You know, there's a number of strikes against it already. Cartridge may need to be replaced. Really rumbly, ringing platter here. So, you know, the idea is to fix this thing up so someone can play records on it. I think there's a bit of a question mark about that still. But we'll go on the next step. I think the main focus is cartridge. Okay. That's it. That's it for today. So thanks a lot for watching. And tomorrow I'll try to get the record player up onto my bench. And we'll take another look at it. See what we can do with it. Thanks for watching. See ya.